Welcome to First Unitarian Society of Minneapolis, the birthplace of congregational humanism. We carry on that tradition of free thought today, dedicated to promoting a free search for truth, meaning, and justice. Our web address is firstunitarian.org. Thank you for joining us.
It's so nice to be here again. It's been many years since I have graced this lectern, and I think the last time I was here, it was was the speaker for Jim Fode's ordination. So he has been ordained and worked and retired since I've been here. I'm grateful for the invitation of your interim minister to be here today. Thank you so much. Friends, I don't know about you, but some mornings I get up, get my coffee, turn on the news, I keep it kind of low, or I look at the headlines a little bit intentionally askew with one eye, because even if I scan my phone, I do so carefully like it might even be a bomb that'll go off in my hand. I don't know about you, but what used to be extraordinary has become ordinary. What used to be unthinkable is now the everyday. What used to be unbearable, we have adjusted ourselves to be acceptable. A radically changed and highly charged political choke has taken hold of our country, in our social and political atmosphere, in ways that sometimes make us feel as if we are either in an SNL skit or we're walking around like inept zombies in a moral apocalypse. We can throw our hands in the air, we can silently shake our heads, we can gesticulate all we want, but what is happening now, many of us have not seen before. Many of us could not imagine, and for a few of us of a certain generation, we are seeing things that remind us of things we'd rather not remember from the past. But for many young people in this country, this is the only America they have ever known. They have never known a world without the headlines that make us cringe. For them, the creeping fascistic state is normal. It's just normal to them. Yet here we are, preparing to fight to maintain due process and birthright citizenship. What has been abnormal has become so normal, and as human beings who speak Spanish and Creole are being locked in infested cages, and women are bleeding out because of the lack of reproductive care. So I say what say you, dear humanists? What say you, humanists, these days? Those who call ourselves humanists are people holding on to an idea and believing, hoping and envisioning the potential of what is good, doing what is decent, doing what is ethical, doing what is fair and what is just. What say you, humanists, who believe in inherent goodness? What say you to our neighbors a few suburbs away who are in churches who believe that the current direction of our country is just fine, fair, and just? The notion that Americans with different views of reality can harmoniously and productively coexist has come to seem more like a quaint fiction than an actual reality. The idea that Americans can have civil conversations, civil discord with members of different political parties appears to be from a Tom Hanks or even a Jimmy Stewart movie. The evidence that the majority of Americans, if given a chance, would fight to preserve the common good for all over the comfort of a few is slim. The evidence of that is slim. Yet these are the aspirations of humanism. No matter what flavor of humanist we are, humanism is a philosophy. We are people without supernaturalism. We are people who affirm our ability and responsibility to lead ethical lives with personal fulfillment and community good. We aspire to this greater good of humanity, guided by reason, inspired by compassion, and informed by real experience. Ours is a view of the world as it is, what the world might be, and what we might be able to do about it. Now, given these cursory fundamentals of humanism and the current fundamentals of America, my question in this time of heightened animosity and aggression is this: have our nice humanist words, values, and democratic principles become irrelevant? Or are they merely utopian fantasies? Or are they now more urgent and necessary to be given flesh than ever before? Today, I'd like to take you on a little, like an Amtrak train ride. Remember Amtrak? I'm from the East Coast, so Amtrak between Boston and Washington, D.C. was my life. I'd like you to imagine yourself on one of these Amtrak trains with me. We're going to call it a humanist train. And there are 3 different passenger cars on this train, all linked together. There are all kinds of humanists on this train, but each car has its own flavor and its own style. The first car is decorated in wood paneling, and there are good rugs on the floor. It's a little parochial, but the seats are comfortable and plush. That's my car. I'm a Yankee, Philadelphia, Boston boomer. That's my humanist car. The tones here can be a little pedantic, a little academic. Some of the jargon is obscure, and they love to talk about the great canon of the revolutionary humanist thinkers. They understand the nature of humanism is to question, upset, and perhaps reform. For the folks on this train car, humanism is deeply personal, and it is not attached to any particular theorist or practitioner. But there are pictures on the wall: John Dewey, Noam Chomsky, and lots of little square boxes of famous UUs. If you meet them at the snack bar, they're chomping on a baguette and maybe a little nice good cheese. They define themselves as free-thinking and hopeful. Pass the cherry and perhaps a little port. They are good folks. Setting aside all thoughts of the afterlife, these humanists focus on making the most of their earthly existence, pursuing happiness as they traverse the good earth and seek to mitigate suffering. In this train car, you can hear them reading 19th century American freethinker Robert Ingersoll, who said, "Happiness is the only good. The time to be happy is now. The place to be happy is here. The way to be happy is to make others so." But if you look into the eyes of the people on this train, you can see, in this car, you can see that they are still believing and longing for a world that is yet to come. Now, the second car is designed a little differently. Lots of bright colors, hip-hop music, and dreadlocks. There are pictures of Lorraine Hansberry, the 1990s humanist rapper KRS-One, Norm Allen, Zeta Smith, and posters from organizations like Black Nonbelievers and Latinx Humanists and biracial Jewish Reconstructionist Buddhists. It is louder than the other car, and the furniture is lower. Think IKEA lower. The snack bar has ramen, kombucha, and kale chips. They are rooted in the humanism of the landscapes that they occupy in communities of color. They are bravely standing up in black spaces asking that prayer not start every darn meeting, and are deconstructing white supremacy's relationship with Christianity and oppression. They are reason-centered, scientific, and rooted in the here and now of the human hand. This is the Gen X millennial BIPOC humanist train car. They see themselves through the lens of independence, social entrepreneurialism, and community nation building. That is their call. Most of these humanists grew up without religion, so they have created rituals and symbols of belonging to celebrate their humanism, which is not solely defined by that word. Their conferences and gatherings stress the relationship between the historical context of their conditions in America and around the world with their quest for dignity. They are also making international connections with the 220 or so African, Latinx, and Asian human organizations around the globe. But you look in the folks' eyes in this car, just like the ones in the previous car, and you can see in their eyes they too are dreaming and hoping of a world that is yet to come. Now, when you look in a third car, you can see that it looks like they're getting ready to practice for a demonstration, or they're playing a game of Twister. You can't tell what's going on. This is the Gen Z humanist car. They have pictures of Greta Thunberg and Maxwell Frost and Bernie Sanders and Nina Turner on the wall. Having been born into anti-human policies and school shootings every week, they seek a humanity in our culture that they've never seen, that they can only dream of. Their humanism stems from creating social change through high volumes of advocacy and action and activism. For these young humanists, they may not even call themselves humanists, but they are the generation that will lead with similar tactics and philosophies that are more similar to the greatest generation when they translate theory into action. Organized labor movements? Oh, who is leading that now? Who is leading that? Organizing of unions in Starbucks and Amazon. Gen Z. In this train car, they sit on the floor sometimes, drink smoothies from personal blenders, take time to care for each other, tend to mental health, and they collaborate. They read books like Humanists in the Hood. There are signs that say Free Palestine, and they practice what they call cultural relevant behavior towards one another. But you look in the eyes of these folks like the previous two cars, and you can see that they too believe in a world that is yet to come. Now suddenly, there's a disturbance. A truck has crossed the track and caused the train to stumble and stop. The truck that crossed the track that stopped the train is a truck, a van, a U-Haul van filled with Proud Boys in khakis and face masks. And they tumble out of the truck, chanting, "Jews will not replace us." And then they run away like cowards. The train comes to a complete stop. Everyone has to get off because of this accident. The train is a little like our country right now, a little bit derailed by policies that are anti-human, policies that propel us towards hatred, politics that accelerate violence. The train is slightly derailed by anti-intellectualism, anti-woman, anti-child, anti-trans, anti-earth mandates. Oh yes, we are stuck right here. Now when the humanists from all these three cars get off and start to mingle with one another while a new train is summoned, The passengers, while they were all traveling in the same direction, realized that they had no knowledge of one another. The boomer humanists asked, "What was that music playing in the millennial Gen X car?" The Gen X sees the Gen Z humanist in the hood book and says, "Hey, can I take a picture of that? I want to order that." Gen Z asked the boomer, who is wearing a button from the Vietnam War, if he was there. The conversations become curious amongst the three train car passengers. They become engaged, authentic, and nonstop. There are bells going off in their heads and smiles and nods and connective tissue being sewn between ideas. You can hear people saying, "Oh yeah, I get it, yeah, right. Howard Zinn was your teacher? Yeah. I read the People's History in 8th grade. Maybe so. Never considered that. Really?" And then come the high fives. You look at all of these folks and you can see in their eyes, they all are seeing a world that is not yet come. They also realize the power that they have together to confront these horrors before us is greater than they've ever imagined. They realize that the movement they can build together could lead the country into its aspirations in ways none of them could done alone. And they feel the imperative to work together. Friends, humanist values can be really easy if it's just me doing my thing and everyone stays out of my way. You know, we're all pretty great humanists until another human enters the room. When all those other humans enter the mix, that's when our humanism is tested. But it's also when our humanism's full power can potentially be unleashed like it was in these train cars. Friends, in 2025, in the last 10 years, humanism is going through some things, and that's a good thing. It's being enlarged and challenged and reshaped and humbled and transformed as it should be if we believe in the evolution we claim. Humanism has been humbled by human failures and misunderstandings and myopic visions of what it could be. And it's had to learn to make room for doubt and awe within itself. Embodied humanism lives beyond words. As another descendant of this congregation, Dr. J. Exodus Hooper says, another black UU humanist, he says, "When we take a stab at trying to make change, I don't know that I'm necessarily always interested in like-minded people as much as I am interested in like-hearted people." In other words, it's one thing to agree cognitively with one another. It's a whole nother thing to agree with them on a deeper level of like-heartedness. So, in those three trains, there is a collective wisdom and the potential of collaborative endurance to push through what we are fighting against, because we are in a fight. This is a war. Those three train cars of humanists can uplift, support, and encourage each other in the battles ahead as we exchange old practices and mix them up with social accountability to build this humanist, multi-generational, multiracial, multi-class, multi-regional global community. Well, finally, a new train comes. It's bigger, but it's only got one car. So they grab all their stuff, the baguette and the brie, the smoothies and the kale chips, and don't forget the ramen. I don't know who's going to be the DJ on that next train, but I can imagine it might sound something like Joan Baez singing Kendrick Lamar. Blessed be.
Thanks for listening. You can find much more about humanism and what's happening at First Unitarian Society of Minneapolis by visiting our website at firstunitarian.org.